Hello, parents. How are you today? I'm very excited to talk to you about media information literacy because it is super important. So, have you ever wondered sometimes when you gave your child a tablet or your cell phone, they just kind of sit in the corner and they're quiet? Well, for sure, it's really nice because they're very quiet and that they're not, bothering you. But have you ever thought in your head what the child may be doing with that phone or that tablet? And so the thing is with me is that I think in today's society it's very easy for a parent, to give their phone, their child some form of media, or some form of, of a media outlet to get them to be quiet or to get them to be tamed. And a part of that is good. I mean, at the end of the day, it's good for the child because um, it's good interaction. But as a parent, we have to think that our children, and even as even as a teacher, I think in my head that there are many things that a child can be exposed to in a short amount of time. So it can be, 5 seconds, and they can be exposed to something that can be completely life changing for them. And so I'm here today, to discuss ways that as an educator and as a teacher, we can be involved more in the students' lives as they are progressing and learning more about media information literacy. So, of course, one of the biggest things that I think that we need to focus on today is the fact that media and pop culture has really taken a toll on many students. And I think not even just many students, but I think is even taking tolls on like many adults. And so a lot of us go through these media outlets thinking that we should be a certain way or act a certain way or should promote ourselves in a certain way because of these other media outlets. And so I definitely think that now is the time for us to really focus and like realize that we shouldn't rely on media to navigate our everyday life and our everyday living. And so that's one of my purposes of making this video because I want to talk to you about ways as a parent that you can be more involved in your children's lives so that they won't go thinking that they have to navigate their lives through social media. So one way that I think that um, as a parent you can be very active in your child's life involved in social media is definitely monitoring them and monitor and watching what they do. The thing is, a lot of kids are able to explore um, media on their own, and the only problem with exploring media on your own is once again you never know what you'll be exposed to. And so having that parent to go over certain media pages and letting them know certain things I think is super important. And I think that the exploration of media goes way further than just Instagram or Facebook or some type of social media through a computer, but I think it goes more on watching the daily news together and talking about different things that appear in the daily news, like about political, about things around the neighborhood, because it's very important that students are being able to express themselves through their community around them and understand the things that are happening around them. Because if a student doesn't understand what's going on in their community, they'll be blinded by things in the future that they won't be able to address or they won't be able to understand because they aren't being able to experiment those things now. One of my second things is definitely if you are going to explore different social media or media options with your child, definitely like being a little more active. So, watching them more or keeping the cloud close on you more. If you're going to explore them, if you're going to introduce them to social media world, definitely have a backup page that you can use to watch the student so that the student just isn't on the social media page just posting anything, but you're able to see his or her followers or close friends, and that's very important as an educator. For me, which I probably won't be using social media platform with your children, but I think as a parent is very important because you know who your child is interacting with, and if there's an issue, you'll be able to catch it as quick as possible. I always tell people that media is a form of propaganda, and so we have to realize that when we are using media is a way, it's a form of entertainment. It's basically a way to have you think a certain way. It's a way to have biased opinions. It's a way for to tell you how to live your lifestyle, how to live, like it's a way to control who you are. And so we have to realize that as adults and as children that we can't allow many things to navigate what we do and how we do it. And media is one of those factors. We can't live our life based off of what someone is telling us every single day, because it's just not okay. I think I made a meme that I'm actually going to post underneath, and the meme talks about this thing called the flat tummy tea that I spoke about last week. And I noticed that a lot of teenagers are starting to use this to order this product. So flat tummy tea is basically a tea that's supposed to help you lose a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of days. But the problem is this tea contains laxatives, which is very, very unsafe to the human body. And it, of course, causes you to have numerous bowel movements. So technically you're pooping away the pounds, which is still not safe because you're losing the weight, but losing 5 pounds from emptying your stomach is not going to help if you're going to eat, and it's going to come right back too. And so the meme is this tea can't help me lose 10 pounds in 1 week. And then the inner self is like, buy it. And it's because, of course, that at the end of the day, this goal is not realistic at all. Like, you cannot lose like 10 pounds in 1 week from drinking the tea. And if you do lose, pounds, are those pounds going to be long-term pounds? Is it water weight? But the reality of seeing, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 1 week, it makes you think, oh, I don't have to work out, I don't have to do anything. Literally all I have to do is just drink this tea and I'm going to drop weight. And so that sounds ideal and it sounds perfect, but is it really and truly something that is promotable or even true? And so I think it's something that you should definitely look into. And finally, I think we just need to be more, I think as a teacher and as a parent, we have to be very involved in our student lives. And that just goes beyond like just social media in general or just media. I think that just reassuring our students and our children that they cannot allow themselves to get attached to certain media aspects, because as kids, they don't understand. They will naturally abuse media because everything sounds good to them when they're young. When you're young, everything sounds good to you. So, I mean, you can tell, a child, either you get, you can tell a child, if I give you, if you give me $5, I'll give you $10. And of course, the child will say, no, I don't want to give you any money, because they don't understand that they're getting a $10 profit. But of course, in their mind, they don't want to give away the money because the $5 seems like it's enough to them. And so they don't know how to switch that off. They don't know how to negotiate. And so I think the same thing with social media is that they can see millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of posts about, oh, free this or do that, or through media, like, this or that, or believe in this and believe in that. And I think that it's very important that we are letting the student know that there's a difference between propaganda advertisement and speaking like in reality, and so that we can't be going off social media outlets in order to define who we are in our daily life and our daily activity. So at the end, I greatly appreciate everyone who's viewing these videos, because I think that it's super important that we're teaching our children to be more literate when it comes to the way that they navigate through social media, because this is technically their life, and right now they're building their social profiles that will stick with them forever. And so having that mindset now of getting them to understand whatever they post or whatever they view can really change their life perspective in the long run and their image in the long run. I think that students will be way more careful with what they tune into, and they'll be way more understanding to analyze and essentially literate, the media, so that if the content is not appropriate, if the content is not something that they should be viewing, that they'll do the right thing and not engage or indulge in processes. Thank you. Have a good day.